Hello, my name is Jamie and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Unlike any other YouTube channel that showcases Pokemon Go PvP content, mine exclusively showcases Shadow Pokemon. So, if you're into that type of content, I'd appreciate if you could like and subscribe.
So, let's get into today's video. In today's video, we are going to be taking a look at a very top meta team that was suggested to me by Mohammed Uzumaki, who said it was time that I stopped messing around and hit Legend. I'm going to be honest, I don't think in these battles I played particularly well, which is a testament to this team, as I managed to go 14-1. I literally powered the Lapras up straight away. I went into battle. I was making the odd mistake here and there, didn't play particularly my best matches, and I pretty much won. That pretty much tells you all you need to know. And if you want to gain some ELO, as today is Go Battle Day, I'd strongly recommend this team. This will probably be the team that does get me to Legend. Obviously, once I start learning some more of the matchups, the ins and outs of the team, I think it's just going to be so strong. So the team is a Shadow Lapras lead. We are actually running Watergun. The reason for this is that you do better against opposing water types and you still hit things like Nidoqueen for super effective. So obviously you can win the mirror. Matches like Dwegong are a lot better with Watergun because Ice Shard is double resisted, whereas Watergun is single resisted. So we've got Lapras on Watergun, Surf and Skull Bash. We've got Nidoqueen on Poison Jab, Earth Power and Poison Fang. And we are running Hypno with Confusion, Thunder Punch and Shadow Ball. You will notice the IVs on my Hypno. It's not my highly ranked one, this is another one I've got. I didn't want to TM it. So without any further ado, let's get straight into the battles. And in game 1, we pick up a rock type lead. So this is another reason why we like to run Watergun. You can see the Waterguns are absolutely shredding it. I did attempt to catch the Rock Blast. Unfortunately, I was unable to do that. And we draw out a Hypno. This is obviously a fairly poor matchup, as Hypno is hitting us for super effective. However, we do get to back-to-back Poison Fangs, which does get the Hypno fairly low. And they are actually now 2-stage debuffed. You can see they do survive with just a few HP. So I wait out my switch timer and I bring in my own Hypno. Because they're thrown immediately, I am going to call the Thunder Punch. It is just a Thunder Punch, and now I am looking to Confusion down. I do Confusion down, now we've got a Lapras that is loaded full of energy, and we've also got a Hypno that has a bit of energy. They now bring in Nidoqueen, and now at this stage I am just going to commit to the Confusion down. I'm not going to shield Hypno, I'm going to use it as a damage sponge. Poison Fang comes through, we switch out into Lapras. This Surf should draw a shield. If it doesn't, which it doesn't, now with 2 shields I'm just going to completely Watergun down this Gravel. I'm just going to shield up everything they throw, and we're going to win game 1 just with Watergun damage. So like I said at the start of the video, this is why I've chose to run Watergun. You can see there, even in a matchup that would be fairly bad, we do actually overcome it because of that water type damage. So moving on into game 2 of the video. We pick up a lead against an XL Lickitung. We do have to be mindful of the Power Whip. However, they're thrown far too early. This is just a Body Slam. Body Slam isn't going to do too much. You can see it does only around 25%. We now overfarm towards the Skull Bash. Once again, this is going to be a Body Slam. I haven't got the energy for the Power Whip. So again, I do not shield. I overfarm. We're at the energy for the Skull Bash. However, I'm just going to go for the back-to-back Surfs. You can see that the one Surf, the second Surf would take him out. However, I aggressively switch into Nidoqueen and I look to try and Poison Jab down. Once again, this is going to be a Body Slam. We can tank it and we're loaded full of energy. They now switch out into their own Nidoqueen. We're so far ahead in energy. I'm not going to bait. I'm going to go straight Earth Power. Earth Power draws a shield. And at this stage, the opponent is going to be very silly if they bait us, because I have got a Surf loaded, so there's absolutely no reason why I would shield. They do bait us. We're now at the second Earth Power, so the opponent has misplayed, and we are going to take advantage. We're going to have to go on 2 shields or lose switch. We win switch with Nidoqueen, and in the back is a Pidgeot. I try and get to the Poison Fang. Unfortunately, I am taken out before I manage to get it off, but we're in a good position here. I can bring in Hypno. I'm counting the Gusts. I count to 5. I'm expecting this to be a Feather Dance, so I catch on Lapras. Feather Dance doesn't actually take us out. Lapras is still quite bulky, even as a Shadow in the Great League. So we do manage to get this Surf. We now draw the last shield, now up 2 shields. We can just double shield this Hypno if they even manage to get to 2 shields. The opponent makes a great catch onto Lickitung, but this game is absolutely over. We take out the Lickitung. Back out is going to come the Pidgeot. This again is going to be a Feather Dance, however I'm not going to 2-shield flex in case they do throw the bird, which they don't. And now it's one more confusion and this Thunder Punch is going to be enough to take game 2. So GG's to the opponent. You can see there, even though I was a bit sloppy and I let my opponent make a catch, that game was absolutely in the bag. Moving on into game 3 of the video. We pick up another great lead. This again is why I like the water gun. They switch out into Ninetales, obviously expecting us to be on Ice Shard, which we are not. You can see this water gun damage has absolutely shredded through the Kanto Ninetales. They are building up a lot of energy. They are now at 7. So I am going to shield up in case it is the overheat. It's just a weather ball, so we are going to let the second one go through. They actually don't get it off. We water gun down and the opponent leaves the match. Once again, water gun OP. Moving on into the next battle. We pick up a lead against Magneton. Obviously Magneton is hitting us 4 super effective with the Thunder Shocks. The counts are 5 to the discharge. So I do switch out and catch the discharge on our Hypno. They're now staying in to build up some energy. Looks like the opponent is trying to catch a Fire Punch. However, we're not running that move. So they bring in the Muck. We're just going to go straight Thunder Punch. This is why the Shadow Hypno is nice, because these Thunder Punches do around 33%, so it is only going to take 3 to KO. The opponent is building up a bucket load of energy. They look like they're really aggressively trying to snarl down, which once again is a misplay from the opponent, as now they're going to be forced to double shield. They do double shield, and are up 2 shields. We should be once again in a great position to take this game. I wait out my switch timer and I decide to bring in Nidoqueen, as I believe Lapras will be the win con, because it obviously has a really good matchup against Nidoqueen, and up 2 shields there isn't much that wants to face a Lapras. I am now going to shield this move up. The second Dark Pulse comes through. They switch out into the Magneton. I'm going to shield up the Magnet Bomb. I bank the energy. I switch out into Lapras. This Surf is going to take out the Magneton, and let's see what they've got in the back. I saved the Nidoqueen in case it was a fighter. It actually isn't. It's actually a Hypno, so this is going to be a close match. We are going to survive this Thunder Punch. It will get us deep into the yellow, or deep into the red I should say. However, this Surf also will do huge damage. We'll get Confusion down before they make a move. That's 1, that's 2. They're now 1 more away from the Thunder Punch. The opponent makes a great catch onto this Alola Muck. So once again, a bit of a misplay from myself. They now have the move. However, if this is a Thunder Punch, we are going to survive and we'll be able to get to the Poison Fang to take that game. It is the Thunder Punch. Poison Fang comes through and Nidoqueen once again manages to take this game. So if you've been a follower of the channel for a while, you will see that I'm not particularly happy with some of the plays I have made in this first set ever using the team, but we are off to a very winning start, which once again is a testimony to how strong this team is. Moving on into this next battle, we pick up a lead against Hypno. This is kind of neutral, however Hypno can hit us 4 super effective with the Thunder Punches. So the first Thunder Punch comes through, does quite a lot of damage. I'm over farming. I look to try and catch the next Thunder Punch on my own Hypno. Unfortunately they don't throw. They bring out a Lickitung, who is hitting our Hypno 4 super effective with this lick damage. However, Confusion and Thunder Punch spam does quite add up. The Lickitung is really over farming. We do manage to sneak through 2-3 turns of energy, so the Lickitung is going to have to throw again. We get to this next Thunder Punch. If the opponent does try and lick us down, we'll get to yet another punch. I think the opponent is starting to realise that they're getting really low and they do throw their energy. So you can see that Shadow Hypno is really oppressive. Lickitung is hitting us for super effective, but we've got that thing so low. We come back in with Lapras once again. We manage to water gun down. This is actually the really annoying double normal team, so I'm going to throw 1 Surf for a bit of chip damage. You can see it does hardly anything to the bulky Chansey. and I switch out into Nidoqueen. You might be wondering, why am I not throwing the Poison Fang straight away? Well, this would be because they've got a Hypno with 2 shields in the back. So I need to stay at around 100 energy before I throw, so I can get them last 2 shields off Hypno. I'm going to obviously have to shield up this Psychic, as even though Chansey is really defense weighted, it is super effective and we are Shadow. So once again, I'm at that 100 energy, I fire off this Poison Fang, which is going to debuff the Chansey once again. I'm expecting the swap at any stage. There is the swap. So this first Poison Fang, I do expect to draw a shield, which it does. We're at the back-to-back. The opponent does throw. They have got enough for the Shadow Ball, so I am going to shield it up. We correctly shield the Shadow Ball. I fire off one more Poison Jab, and I fire off my Poison Fang. I now catch the Confusion onto Lapras. We do survive with literally 1 HP, and we get this Surf off to take the game. £1 takes us out, and now it's going to be a race. Can we offer enough damage output on the Nidoqueen to take Chansey out? I think it's £14 or £15 to a Psychic. They didn't switch out with much energy. Chansey's really bulky, and it takes forever to get to his charge moves. So we're going to see if Nidoqueen can offer enough damage output. The next Poison Fang gets them really low and we Poison Jab down. So GG's to that opponent. You can see we go perfect 5-0 in the first set. We did let the opponent catch a couple of moves, which doesn't make me particularly happy, as I do like to try and manage energy and find my win cons, especially using shadows. Usually if I was using a less meta team, if someone caught a move, I would lose. However, with this really bulky team, we have managed to go a 5-0 despite a few misplays. So, getting on to set 2. We pick up a lead against Mew. I call the bait, and they now switch out into their own Lapras. I bank a bucket load of energy, and I now switch out into Hypno. The opponent is throwing some energy. It is the Skull Bash. You can see that does do quite a lot of damage. However, if I was them, I would go straight Surf, as it is better DPE. So back-to-back Surf would have done more damage. However, the Skull Bash does mean they can survive the Thunder Punch. And now at this stage, I am going to let Hypno go down, as obviously it doesn't want to see Mew. The Lapras has got a nice little bit of health left on it, so I am now going to come in with the Nidoqueen. Even though we are taking super effective Ice Shard damage, it's nice to get ahead on energy with the Nidoqueen. They come in with Ninetales. So I build up to the Earth Power and I bait Poison Fang. They actually call the bait. However, we've got so much energy on the Lapras. I do combo play. This Surf would absolutely one-shot to, so we do draw a shield. The Ninetales is staying in. So they are going to have to shield this next move up as well, which they do. They now fire off some energy. I'm going to shield this up. We shield the Weather Ball. They switch out into Mew. They fire once again. I am going to call the bait, as I've got no intentions of shielding this Lapras. I don't think they're going to want to debuff themselves, which they're not. So they do fire off a Surf. I hold on to my shield. This Surf is going to get them fairly low. I do try and undercharge. However, we do still manage to take them out. I instantly swap back into my Nidoqueen, and this Poison Fang should be enough to take this game. Poison Fang comes through, and we take out the Ninetales. So we're still undefeated with this team. Moving on into the next battle. We pick up an absolutely dreadful lead against Alolan Raichu. These Volt Switches would do a lot of damage, so I aggressively switch out into my Nidoqueen, and we are met with a Golbat. Golbat isn't as bad a matchup as you would think, as these Poison Fangs do really add up, and they are also just going to be going Poison Fang. They haven't even built up towards the Shadow Ball, so we don't need to shield. The fact that we are Shadow, you can see that we are doing more damage. And as we are undefeated at this stage, obviously we're about to get wrecked by lag. You can see that we're missing every other fast move. They even get a free fast move, so we've done 2 Poison Jabs and they've got about 5 wing attacks. You can see this matchup is still really even nonetheless. We get them really low, so without that lag, we could have potentially flipped switch advantage. However, we are going to still continue to play on, and we're going to see how we manage to play out of this game. They once again do fire too early to be anything other than a Poison Fang, so I don't respect it. They come back in with the Alolan Raichu. The Volt Switch, that did register, did huge damage. They're actually throwing their energy now. I am going to have to double shield this Hypno. I can't afford this Raichu to see my Lapras. The opponent is throwing at quite poor intervals, so we are sneaking confusions through all over the place. We do get baited with the Psychic the first time. The second time they do throw the Wild Charge. In the back they've got a Nidoqueen. So we've seen this matchup numerous times. The confusions really chunk them down. They've got 2 shields, so I'm spamming out these not very effective Thunder Punches. Once again we are going to go Thunder Punch. Now it's shields down. This is resisted. Let's see if it does enough to take them out. Unfortunately it doesn't. I try and snipe with the Lapras. I'm unable to do so. They throw the Poison Fang. They go for the back-to-back. Unfortunately we don't sneak a Water Gun through. One Water Gun would have been enough to take them out. However, either way it doesn't really matter because one Volt Switch will take us out. And now we should be able to confusion down. That's 2. And as they get the energy for the next Wild Charge, we manage to take that game. So moving on into the next battle. We pick up a lead against a Shadow Ninetales on Water Gun. This matchup is really good. They once again switch out into their own Lapras, so we meet them with Hypno. We saw the last one went Skull Bash. This opponent is going to actually opt to go Surf, which I think is the correct play. Like I said, it's much better DPE. You can see from a Shadow, the Surfs do really add up. And likewise, from a Shadow Hypno, these Thunder Punches really add up. The opponent has shielded once. We CMP tie to the next move. So I am going to shield this up, even though I'm at low health. I want to either grab both their shields or win switch. Let's see what the opponent wants to do. Thunder Punch comes through. We actually get both shields, so we are in a good spot now as they are shields down. I could come in with either Pokemon, however this Lapras does have energy, so the safest play would be to come in with my own Lapras. I am going to look to commit to the Water Gun down. Unfortunately I am going to have to eat a Skull Bash, but we do survive and we're just going to get as much energy as possible. They switch out, saving the low health Lapras in the back. They've got a Mew. You can see that these back-to-back Surfs are going to do massive damage, so I am going to fire off both of them and I look to snipe with Poison Jab. We do snipe with the Poison Jab before they even get off the Surf. They try and bring in Lapras, that gets Poison Jab down. And now I am going to go straight Earth Power. I think Poison Fang would be enough to take them out, but we've got a shield anyway, so I may as well build up to their nuke. And Earth Power takes that game when we manage to save a shield, so GG to that opponent. Moving on into the next battle. This, I believe, is the one battle in the video that we actually take a loss. And you're going to see where I could have played it better. So in this matchup, you can see the health bars. My Lapras is doing more damage than the opponent's. That would be not only because we're Shadow, but it would be because our Water Gun is only single resisted, whereas the Ice Shards are double resisted, as Water resist Water and Ice resist Ice. So Water Gun is the way to go in the mirror. We shield up the first Skull Bash and we fire off a Skull Bash of our own. You can see that we've got them into the yellow and we are still really healthy. The opponent is going to fire off a Skull Bash now, which you can see we survive with loads of health. I overfarm just before they get to a Surf, and this Skull Bash should be enough to take them out, which it is. And this is where you're going to see a huge misplay. My Lapras with a 2-stage defense debuff is going to give this Hypno so much farm. So what I should have done here, I should have switched out either into Nidoqueen or into Hypno, because giving this opponent free farm is terrible. We get a bit of lag, so I have now decided that I am going to switch out. The opponent is at 5, so I am going to shield up the potential Shadow Ball. We correctly shield, which is great. I now build up to the Shadow Ball and I go for a Thunder Punch. So this game isn't going particularly well, as we have let a confusion through as well. The opponent calls the bait, which was dreadful. I always say don't bait on this channel. So you can see the bait there was pretty bad. They fire off the Shadow Ball and they now snipe us down with Nidoqueen. So if I would have went straight Shadow Ball, we'd actually have gone 15-0 in this video. Or if I would have went straight Shadow Ball or even just switched out immediately, we'd be in a much better spot. I do try and catch the Earth Power, which would be the win con there, and I top left as that game's over. So quickly going over that matchup, the things to note there, I should have switched out immediately, not let myself get farmed down, and I shouldn't have baited. They were the 2 win cons for us in that matchup. and we could have actually won that game. We just played a bit poorly. So you need to learn from my mistakes. That's why I'm showcasing it, as I have made a few mistakes in these battles, and do as I say, not as I do. So we now get a chance to redeem ourselves in the Lapras mirror. So once again, we shield up the Skull Bash and we fire off a Skull Bash of our own. The opponent calls a bait. They then come in with Victory Bell. I'm massively confused. I haven't seen one of these things, but we get it super low. This is going to be a Leaf Blade. I'm just going to sack the Hypno. I'm not prepared to shield it again, as I don't want to go down 2 shields. We come in with Nidoqueen and we Poison Jab it down. They come back out with the Lapras. So once again, I am going to shield this up and we are going to Poison Jab it down. We are down 2 shields. However, we are going to be able to absolutely debuff the living crap. Oh, probably shouldn't swear, but us Brits, we love to swear. So I'm going to debuff the life, perhaps a better word than crap, out of this Raticate. They are going to have to start shielding. The Poison Fangs are starting to add up. They do shield up. We switch out into Lapras once again. This Surf will definitely draw a shield. After 2-stage debuff, it would probably KO. The Lapras is far too healthy for the Raticate to commit to any kind of farm down. They dump their energy. You can see the water gun has got them really low. Now Nidoqueen can come back in and Poison Jab down. So GG's to that opponent. You can see in that last matchup we played the Lapras mirror much better and we just recovered. So you can't get tilted by misplays. You've got to keep playing on. And now in this next battle we pick up yet another lead against Ninetales. Ninetales we used on this channel. When you see a Lapras on Ice Shard, it is a pretty good matchup actually. But we're on obviously Water Gun. We bank a bucket load of energy once again and we now switch out into our own Hypno. I do shield up the potential Shadow Ball and now we are going to go for a Shadow Ball of our own. Well, we're actually going to go Thunder Punch, but we always build up to the energy for the Shadow Ball. The opponent once again calls the bait. However, at this stage we can just go straight Thunder Punch, because this one they are going to have to shield regardless, which they do. We're now at even shielding scenario. I don't particularly care for this Hypno too much, so they do fire off the Shadow Ball. They do manage to farm us down, but we've got such a great matchup in the back. Both of our Pokemon do handle the Ninetales really well, so I did want to get ahead on some energy with the Nidoqueen. We build up quite a lot of energy and we fire off this Poison Fang. We do draw the opponent's shield, we get a Poison Jab through, so I'm now going to shield up this Weather Ball. The opponent switches out into a Primate. Primate really doesn't want to see Nidoqueen. We go straight for the Earth Power. This is going to do huge damage. It one-shots the Primate. We switch out into the Lapras, who's got a loaded Surf, and the opponent backs out. So GG's to that opponent. Moving on into the next battle. We see a lead against Nidoqueen. They immediately switch out into a Ninetales. Once again, whenever I see a Nidoqueen, you will notice I actually paused at the start. The reason for that is I know they're going to switch out and I don't want to reveal what fast move I'm on. So if you are also on Water Gun, I would recommend doing that. Because if you show Water Gun, they're not going to switch into something like Ninetales or Marowak. So they switch out into a losing matchup. We shield up the first Weather Ball. We're going to let the second one come through and we are going to commit to the farm down. So let's see what they've got in the back. We are now going to spam off this Surf because we are quite low on HP. Surf does a nice bit of damage to the Mach. They manage to fast move us down. However, we can now realign our Pokemon in the order we want. We now bring in Nidoqueen. This Mach is on Poison Jab. Most of them are actually running Snarl. Poison Jab's obviously a lot better for us. We tank the Dark Pulse and we fire off a Poison Fang. I am going for this Poison Fang because I can now confusion them down if we need to. However, we managed to fast move them down. There comes the Nidoqueen. We're going to go straight Earth Power. I expect the opponent to call the bait, hence I'm not baiting. Earth Power lands and we take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Moving on into the next battle. We have our Lapras onto a Dragonair. Once again, I am going to pause. I'm not going to reveal my fast move. They instant swap out into a Hypno. So Hypno save swaps are a bit problematic, as we don't really have an answer. Obviously Nidoqueen doesn't want to see it, and you don't want to switch into your own Hypno behind on energy. So I shield up the first Thunder Punch, and I look to catch the second Thunder Punch on my own Hypno. We do that successfully, which is great for us. And now I am going to be able to take them out with a Thunder Punch. They once again fire off after 3, so this is going to be another punch. We don't have to bother shielding. The fact that they have thrown again, I can build up so much energy. I'm looking to confusion down. I get a bit greedy. However, I am now going to have to double shield. So again, like I said at the start of the video, I'm not playing these matches perfectly. I should have fired off the Thunder Punch. We are down 2 shields. However, we are loaded full of energy, so I know we're going to get them back. I fire off the Shadow Ball because I'm not going to want to get potentially called out on a bait. They shield that up, and unfortunately the Dragon Breath registers before we get to the second one. So not only do we double shield, we go down with over 50 energy, which is terrible. However, Nidoqueen has got an alright matchup here. These Aqua Towers do loads of damage. The Dragonair does stay in. The Shadow Dragonair, I've used it in the past on this channel like you saw. So they are going to have to shield this Poison Fang up, as Poison Fang would do huge damage. They catch the super effective Surf onto Marowak. So the win con for me here will be commit to the farm down and Skull Bash the Dragonair for the win. This is only a Bone Club, which we will survive, as Bone Club is a naff move. You can see we've got the Skull Bash locked and loaded. So even though we went down with a bucket load of energy and double shielded, once again the top meta team bails us out and we take that game. So in that matchup, I obviously should have thrown the Thunder Punch before they got to another move, and I should have just thrown the not very effective Thunder Punch rather than went down with so much energy. So they are the two things you need to do as I say and not as I do, like in that matchup. So moving on into this next battle. We led our Shadow Lapras into Snorlax. I was a bit scared of the superpower on dip. I did try and catch a superpower on my Nidoqueen. I was unsuccessful, and we are met by a Hypno. You've seen how this goes. We can get him really low with the Poison Fangs. The opponent gets really greedy, and they look to try and confusion us down, and then this time the opponent goes down with a bucket load of energy. So they've made the same mistake that I made in the previous matchup. You can see when you get towards the higher elo, players do try and commit to the farm down and leave a lot of energy, and often greed can catch you out. So we do bring in Hypno, who has an alright matchup with Shadow Lax, obviously, especially as we had that water gun damage, so we have got him quite low. We are going to show it this next Body Slam, and I expected them to switch out, which they do, so we simultaneously swap Nidoqueen into Lapras. We all know how this matchup goes. I'm not going to shield up the Poison Fang. We are now at the back-to-back Surf, so these should draw both the opponent's shields. First Surf does draw the shield. I water gun down a little bit more. Just before we're about to get taken out, I fire off the second Surf, which also draws the shield. I was hoping my switch timer popped up, which it hasn't. However, I'm going to shield up this Poison Fang. I'm going to confusion down, or at least attempt to, and the win con for us will be Thunder Punch that low HP Snorlax in the back. We've got loads and loads of energy. However, one Thunder Punch is going to be more than enough to take out the very low health Snorlax, and we managed to take that game. So GG's to the opponent. Moving on into the next battle. Once again, you see the Shadow Nidoqueen lead. We fire off a load of water guns. They switch out into Lickitung. So we meet them with Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen Licky is an alright matchup. However, I was a bit slow on the swap, as I did want to see if it was Lickitung or Chansey that was coming in. If it was Chansey, I would have actually switched to my Hypno, because the charge move of Psychic, which is the lower cost move, is obviously resisted, and the confusion does really chunk them. However, it is Licky, so we come in with Nidoqueen. We can win this in the 0, straight Poison Fang. However, as I was a bit slow on the swap, potentially we aren't going to be able to do that, but I don't need switch advantage because both our Mon in the back do really well against Nidoqueen. We get a bit of lag, we do still manage to win switch. They've now got a Dwegong in the back, and you are about to see probably the most depressing matchup in the world. It's the equivalent of Mandibuzz on Mandibuzz, Azumarill on Azumarill. So you've got a Dwegong that's hitting us for double resisted with the Ice Shards, double resisted with the Icy Wind, and single resisted with the water pulse. However, they're obviously just going to debuff us because that's the better move to go for, is obviously they're going to want our Skull Bashes to do less damage. We draw a shield with the first Skull Bash. You can see the Icy Winds do absolutely nothing. I'm not really sure what the opponent is thinking, staying in. I am going to build up once again towards the Skull Bash. I am going to save my 2 shields for Hypno, and this is going to be a good game. This is at 1.5 speed, and you're probably going to lose about... You're going to feel like you're aged about a year after watching this. The opponent probably should top left. We fire off another Skull Bash. I am going to tank this next Icy Wind, which absolutely isn't going to KO. They probably need about another 4. Instant swap into Hypno. We simultaneously swap. I'm just going to shield up absolutely everything this Shadow Nidoqueen throws. The double Poison Fang, I'm going to shield up. We're going to commit to the Confusion down, and we're going to back-to-back Thunder Punch that Dwegong for the victory. If you are the opponent, and if you're on Battle Day, if you see matches like Dwegong into Lapras and you aren't going to win, I'd recommend just top left in. Like if I have the same matchup, which is really poor for me, I will top left, as you're never going to get through 100 matches when you're playing out these matches that take 2-3 minutes and you've got no win con whatsoever. So like I said, we completely Confusion down. The Dwegong was dry on energy, and the back-to-back Thunder Punch takes out that game. So GG's to that opponent. You could see that was a 14-1 run. We did have some moments where we played really well, but about 3 matches I did make some quite poor mistakes. 1 match we did lose, so it could have actually been a 15-0. But 2 other matches, the team being so good did recover us. You can see there we reached 28-20. We did start the video in the 2600s. I'm going to post a video tomorrow using Swampert, Dragonite and Snorlax. I did lead Dragonite and I went 3-12, so our ELO did drop quite heavily. However, this team did recover us. It is really strong. I'd highly recommend, if you're trying to reach your season goals in Battle Day tomorrow, it's actually today, as it's like 3 AM when I'm recording this. This is a team you can have success with. Like I said, I've got some fun content coming up featuring Shadow Swampert in the Master League. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Please leave a like, as we are trying to grow the channel. We are closing in day by day on the 1,000 subs. I'm really psyched to reach that huge milestone. And I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.